speak on academic writing for biomedical and life sciences. But before that, I would like to hand over to the chairman of this occasion to give us the modalities of the presentation. Thank you. Jazakumullah khair.
Thank you, Mr. Amir,
Thank you,
and
Mr.
thank you
Gogo.
very much. And I would like to welcome each and everyone for uh, joining us in this evening or afternoon or morning. And we will going to have a successful session, inshallah, with each and everyone here. We invited the best and the expert in the field of academic writing, and during this session we are entitled to, we have a Q&A session which will be 10 minutes at the end of the presentation. Probably the presentation will be within 40 to 45 minutes, and a certificate will be issued to each and everyone. Please kindly do check the chat box for the presentation attendance. The attendance is for the certificate, and by doing so, during the third minute or 30 minutes of the seminar session, the attendance list will be sent in the chat box. And I will like each and everyone to kindly switch off his mic when he log in order to avoid interference during the seminar session. Thank you all for joining us, and I would like to hand over to the our guest invited speaker, Mr. Marzuq. Please, Dr. Marzuq, the mic is yours. Thank you. You can share your screen.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum. I will try to share my screen and good. So I guess we should start from here. And can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, and you can hear me
Yes,
clearly.
yes, okay.
If at any point the presentation stops or the screenshot tries doing something or tries sharing something, what I am currently sharing is going to stop entirely. Okay, good morning or good evening and good afternoon, depending on where you are. Uh, and today we are going to discuss academic writing. And because of the complexity and subtleties, when I was approached with the topic of academic writing in general, I feel that I am not in a position to talk about academic writing in social science or physical science and other things and other fields of study. Although there are some universal truths with respect to academic writing, there are some universal tips that people in all fields may find useful. But I feel most of what I am going to say is specifically tailored to biomedical and life sciences, which I know a little about. So, what is academic writing? If the chairman of the occasion and the organizers would allow me, I would want a situation where I ask questions as we go, and then people answer, and then together we uh, uh, we learn one or two things. So, what is academic writing? Anyone? If the chairman or the organizer can help identify people who have raised their hands and allow them speak, I would be glad. So, chairman, if you can coordinate that aspect, because I can only see my screen right now. I can't see the participants or who is raising their hand. Not.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Good morning, sirs. My name is Musa Idris. What I understand about academic writing is any kind of writing that is relevant to academic. Any form of writing that is related to academic form of writing. Seeking for supervisor, maybe in case of MSc or PhD. So in brief, any form of writing that is related to academic.
Okay. Thanks so much, Musa. So, from what I have learned, most of you here, either students, lecturers, or both. So, that means we are all members of the academic community. And academic writing is that specific style or form of writing in which people in the academic community communicate their ideas, their information, and their own research. By research, we mean in some cases their research proposal, their research findings, and so on and so forth. So, can you mute yourself, please?
What is the effect of conference?
Musa, can you mute yourself? Oh, okay. So, so since it is that form of writing where members of academic which members of academic community use, it should be consistent or follow a particular style that those members of the community can always recognize and find easy to talk to each other, which makes a lot of sense. It is just like English, let's say English or Hausa or any other language. We all know that every language has its own subtleties, has its own rules, has its own grammatical regulations, and so on and so forth. So consider academic writing as that language that people in the academic community, including researchers, lecturers, students, and almost every other person in the community uses to communicate. So, but importantly, according to EAP, this definition is from EAP Foundation. According to EAP Foundation as well, this form of writing is usually structured. It is evidenced, so it is not what Hausa people will call shachipadi or hearsay, or I have heard from so and so person and this and that and that and that. No, it is evidenced, and the source is almost always clear. And it is not like so and so person did. No, no, you have to mention the person, you have to mention the procedure they followed, you have to mention the result in particular. If it is one, it is one. If it is 2 micrometers, it is 2 micrometers. So something like that. It should be critical in the sense that it is open for critique or for evaluation all the time. And then you evaluate your own ideas, you evaluate other people's ideas, you evaluate the established knowledge itself. So, and it has to also be balanced in the sense that you don't just focus on what you like and leave the other aspect of it. For almost every idea in research, there is usually an idea that is contrary to the idea you hold. So, because it is not belief, you would try to be balanced in bringing everything together. And then at the end of the time, what holds more evidence is what stands up. It is precise. You have to be as accurate as possible as you can be, and it also is objective, especially in life and in life and biomedical sciences, and as well physical sciences. It is usually objective, and then it is formal writing. Much later, we would see what formal writing is. So, who needs it? Anyone? Who do you think needs academic writing?
Mr. Shafiu Kamilu and Mr. Abdul Lamit, you can on your mic, please. Then you can one after the other, please. Thank you.
So who needs academic writing?
Okay, Mr. Musa Idris, still you can on your mic, please.
Thank you, sir, for this second opportunity.
Uh,
Who needs
just go straight
academic
to the
writing?
point. Thank you.
Everybody in academic community needs academic writing. As a
Okay.
student, lecturer, researchers, everyone needs
Okay.
it.
I have
It's okay
Mr.
then.
Abdullahi as well. Mr. Abdullahi Abdul Razak, please can you turn
Then
on your
now
mic?
I will ask Abdullah Abdulrazak, what I will ask him is where and when do you need academic writing?
I didn't had the question.
In what particular instance do you need academic writing?
Hello.
Since Musa has answered the question of who needs academic writing.
Hello. Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
I think the academic writing is mostly for research.
Uh-huh. Of course, it is for research, but in what particular instances you yourself would need to use academic writing, for example? I can't
Assalamualaikum.
hear you, Abdullah. The question is, in what particular instances you yourself as a student or as a researcher would need to use academic writing?
We need academic writing in writing when carrying out our thesis
Uh-huh, very good. Thesis. Uh-huh. Any other thing?
in the university or when writing a publication
Great. Uh-huh.
or when writing a proposal like a research.
Great. A proposal and even grant writing as well. Uh-huh. What next?
And when you are carrying out data sampling.
Uh-huh.
If
But
you
data
have,
sampling is not sampling, is what you do. So anyway, thanks so much. You have highlighted the main places or the main instances where we need academic writing. So why do you have these two pictures? One is a thesis and the other is a paper. And the point I'm trying to make is that if you are in this academic community and you are a postgraduate student, you are at some point going to write a thesis, or you have to write a thesis or dissertation. Number two, you have to write an academic paper. Number three, if you are maybe let's say undergraduate or a master's student, in many instances you would need a term paper and a lab report. And if you are an advanced researcher, maybe a postdoc or a lecturer or something like that, you would need to as well write proposals in form of grant applications where you apply for money or funding for you to carry out a specific research. And in all these instances, you would have to follow the specifications of that form of that form of writing called academic writing that we explained before. The implication is that in the first place, this language, as I keep calling it a language, is the language the community understands. So if you don't speak the language, you stand a risk of a lot of things. Number one, your grant application, you won't win any grants, so your lab is going to be empty and will have to close because you didn't have funding, because you don't speak the language the people who will give the funding will understand. Your papers will not be accepted. That way, conferences, journal articles will not be accepted, will be rejected. which you wouldn't want because you need them for the advancement of your career and to also communicate your results. Your dissertation, God forbid, if it is not well written, uh, chances are there the person who didn't write it well is not even going to graduate. And of course, every student wants to graduate at the end of the time. For the rest, lab report and essay are also essential for part of many courses that we engage in. And then you have to pass these courses and to show that you understand the courses in order to even reach a point where you write a dissertation and graduate or write a journal paper. So I hope I make sense and I hope we understand, especially those of us who are new into this field or who are new into writing papers or quality papers in general, uh, will understand the implication. And now that we are privileged to go international, to be on the international stage, the expectation even becomes higher. There are many things that if you are maybe if you are in a local environment that can be excused, but then for many of you who are students in Malaysia, I am very sure the government and companies and some of you, their parents are spending thousands of dollars to sponsor their education. And many of you have also passed through highly competitive processes to win scholarship. So what I'm saying is we need to justify the amount of funding that is dedicated into our education and research. And we can only do that if we take elements of our of scholarship or elements of research and academia serious, such as academic writing, because they hold big.
Sorry, please, Mr. Speaker. Can you share your screen again because someone just interrupt the screen sharing?
I know. That is why I always
Yeah,
that is one reason
let
I
me
don't
try
like
to.
Google Meet that much. Okay, I will share that again. So, but
Assalamu alaikum. Maybe the presenter has a network glitch. Mr. Chairman, are you with me?
Yes. We just wait a little bit. Please, sorry for the interaction of the signal. We wait for the guest speaker to log in once more again for the session, please. And I think he is logging. Probably is trying to. Please, Mr. Dawaki TV, please can you turn off your mic?
So Alhamdulillah, he's back again.
Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes, yes.
Good. And please, if it is possible, try as much as you can not to interfere with the screen sharing, unless if you have something really important to share, because these are the things that that can easily distort Google, Google Meet all the time from experience. So, and I think that's how I got logged off because my screen sharing was put off and so on. So, let me share the screen again. And so, as I was saying, academic writing there is importance in the academic community and what we do as researchers and as students and lecturers cannot be overemphasized. And it needs to be structured, and to take it very simple, usually every a written essay or a written word will usually have three basic parts, as we all know: introduction, body, and conclusion. So always remember that. Take it simple, and then from simple to complex. So in academic writing, it is also just like that. The only difference is that the body is divided into parts, into subparts, which is a methods, what we would call materials and methods in many cases, results and discussion, then the conclusion. But of course, it always starts with an introduction. So the devil is in the body. So the difference is in the body. But then you may wish to ask, what about figures, tables, and other things? They are all included in the body as well. In most cases, they are used to describe the ideas in the results. But then I have seen instances where people use figures and illustrations to bring home a point in introduction and conclusion as well. It is all possible, right? So what about reference? Okay, bibliography, of course, is basically something that comes at the end. So that comes at the end, which is just acknowledgement in details of the studies or written documents you have. Not just written documents, it can be another document as well, oral, audiovisual, or so on, and so on, that you have consulted while making your research. So, introduction. Meet my friend Mr. Amoeba. Isn't it? That's just what we do, right? If I know Abdullahi because we served in same state in Gombe State. That was in 2015. And so, but then I also know Saddam because he is. We went to the same university, ABU. So let's say I don't know Suleiman, or I haven't met Suleiman, and but then I was let's say I am with Saddam, then we meet Suleiman, and Saddam is trying to introduce me uh, uh, to Suleiman. Okay, let's just cut the story short. Before the beginning, before I started this, I think Mala Abdullah has used the opportunity to introduce me. Right? Isn't it? So that's just the introduction. And in academic writing, it is just basically the same. You are going to write an amoeba. Uh, please mute yourself. Whoever is that, please mute yourself. Okay, so it is just basically like that in academic writing as well. Marzuq is this, blah 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 blah. He went to this and that. That's just introductions. You are writing on amoeba, then you talk about amoeba. What is known currently on amoeba? What you know and what the scientific community know? What is available in the existing literature about amoeba? You only write it. So I hope it makes sense. So that is Sorry for this. So anyway, for introduction, you usually use a simple tense because you are dealing with. Sorry for the mix. I think there are some information that we don't read at this point. So you usually use a simple tense because you are talking about facts, but then you can use a combination of other tenses where necessary. Uh, Especially when there are, in most cases, you can't avoid past tense, especially when you are trying to document what describe amoeba. You can say amoeba is this, is a microscopic unicellular, blah 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 blah. That's just present tense. So as you are well aware at this point, in thesis you usually would have a separate introduction chapter in some cases and a separate literature review chapter in some instances. In some cases you combine the two. In academic papers, journal papers, the introduction and the literature review, unless if you are writing a review paper, they are usually in one place. You just write introduction and just move to the materials and methods or another section, if that makes any sense. So what do you do in introduction or literature review? You also, as well, we mentioned being precise and being evidenced, if you can remember in this part. So, and as well critical and balanced. So this is where these elements are come into place. So whatever you say, amoeba is cellular, blah 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 blah, then you put evidence. How do you know that? Who said it? Who said that? Then you reference or you cite the study that you consulted where you find the knowledge that amoeba is a cellular microscopic blah 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 blah. I hope this makes sense. We also try to use some to be balanced. If anyone, I am not very sure. If anyone knows that it is not unicellular as well, even if it is just the view of the minority, we also try to acknowledge that. However, some researchers are of the opinion researchers have reasoned that because we hardly use opinion in biological science. So of course you can say have concluded that, we have reasoned that, and so on and so forth. That it is not purely a unicellular organism because of this impact. Right? So you also as well try to be objective, even if you are more prone to believe in something otherwise. You have to entertain and welcome what is contrary to what you believe in. So this is just introduction, which I think you are well aware of. But I hope this serves as a very good reminder, also a point of reflection on what we do and why we do. So that then this is just introduction. Just trying to introduce whatever concept, whatever idea you want to research to the public. It is as simple as introducing one person. Good. So materials and methods. So materials and methods, also to be simple, I will just consider it as a scientist you are a chef. As you can see here, this chef but then you all know what you do in cooking. You have to put a tablespoon, a spoon of table salt, let's say, or less, or a gram, or half a gram, or something like that. A certain quantity of food, you use a certain quantity of water, a certain quantity of rice, and stuff like that. So consider the writing of materials and methods as just a cooking recipe. You are trying to let the world know the ingredients you use and how you cook your things. You first put this, then add that, and then after 5 minutes you do this. That's, I think, basically what we do in the lab. Adding one thing or another, and removing another thing, mixing, cooking. PCR is just thermocycler is basically just a pressure cooker, moving from some high degrees to another, something like that. So look at it like that, and then it becomes simple in your mind, and this is what we are going to do. And the whole essence is that science should be with each other. That is a big element. An important element of science is that here in Edinburgh, if I carry out an experiment using so and so materials and following so and so method and find a particular result, if in Malaysia you buy the same materials, the same materials are used, and then carry out the same experiment under the same conditions, you should arrive at the same result. If you do everything the same way I did, but were unable to get my own results, then both of us are in trouble. Either means you didn't do that well, or myself, I did something that I did not like. And that as well puts a big question mark on the integrity of the research idea, because it cannot be repeated, and nobody in the whole world can do it and find the same result. Then how did I find what I found? Research is not magic. So I hope you understand, and if you understand this, then it gives you a sense of always trying to make your protocol or your materials and methods section in a paper or in a thesis or in a lab report as detailed as possible. Of course, in cases of a paper, you don't have the space to write the protocol in details, but then there are as well papers that are dedicated to publishing protocols as well. So you can publish a protocol as well, digital protocol as an academic paper or as in an academic journal. You can always do that. And then another way to save time when writing materials and methods, especially when you are writing paper, is to cite as many work as possible that use the exact same method. Wherever, always remember this, wherever you have modified or adapted a method, try and acknowledge that you have modified the procedure. You can say Ungogo et al. So and so essay was carried out as described previously by Ungogo et al. 2022, but with few modifications. Then you mention the modifications, and then that way it saves you the trouble of writing all what Ungogo has already mentioned in his own paper. I hope this is making some sense. So these are just a few tips to use, and then in most cases, because this is something you have just done, or you did it some weeks ago, some years ago, and so on. So you just use a past simple tense. 5 microgram of 5 microliter of this is added to 10 ml of this, something like that. Or you made a dilution of this, a serial dilution was prepared, something like that. So that's materials and methods. I'll quickly move to results, and results is where you describe what you found. So it is simple. Introduction, you introduce the concept, identify the gaps what we know, what we don't know. You try as much as you can to let people know that this is the justification of the work you are doing. It is because it is important, and so on, so way. That's introduction. The tools and methods, you highlight the methods you have used in order to answer the research questions you have. In results, you are just trying to describe what you have found or what you have observed after following this specific methods and using those specific materials. So results, so you, as much as you can, since we are in biomedical and life sciences, try as much as you can to use figures and tables because we in many cases are dealing with quantitative data. And when you have quantitative data, what you do with it is you try to represent it in a pictorial format, where because you don't need a very big table or a text that is going to be boring and monotonous, explaining that at 60 seconds you have this, at 120 you have that, and so on and so forth. But one graph can easily convey a message and can as well summarize an experiment that took you a whole week to carry out. So you describe what you found as much as you can, use graph, and then you explain what you found. You use figures and tables as much as you can, as I have said, and then you can as well divide it into sections as well, also sections, because you have carried out many experiments, and each experiment has its own purpose because there is a particular question you want to answer. So you can maybe subdivide the result section into experiments, or you subdivide it into discoveries or things, and so on and so forth. You can. So let's say I did this experiment myself. This is from this paper that we published. I made this graph myself. So let's say I am going to write results, write a result section for a paper like this. As you can see, x-axis, luminosity uptake, hypermole per 10 million cells, how much of a drug is taken up by cells, and then y-axis, it is time, right, per second. So in red, you have specified that you have IL-3000, which is a certain cell line, and in blue you have another cell line. So simply put, what we can say is that we have observed no differences in the luminosity uptake between IL-3000 and plus PB-AQPG cell line, right? Number 1 point. Number 2, you can go into details. In both cell lines, the total accumulation of the medicine over 300 seconds was around, the average is around 0.04 picomoles per 10 million cells. Exactly. You can as well try to describe more about it. Of course, as you can see, this is a curve, but then most curves, as you are well aware, will usually have an initial log phase, right? An initial linear phase before a point of saturation. As you are well aware, then you also describe it. And then still you can as well mention that the curve starts to plot, let's say, 1 minute, that is 60 seconds. So basically, in results, you try as much as you can to describe what you have found, and then while in instances where you are asked to divide results and discussion, you try as much as you can not to discuss the implication of what you have found or your observation, but you try to describe your observation as much as possible. And then you use figures and then you explain what the figures are all about. So this is just a result section. So discussion. First, if you are writing an assignment or even in dissertation or in a paper, you also discuss. Discussion is just you just consider it as a discussion with two friends, for example, or try to wrap everything together. How do you do that? You first bring you can bring together first of all the background, the gap, what you did, what you found, and then the implication of what you have found. Importantly, in discussion section, paper or an essay or dissertation, you also have to recommend future studies or potential ideas future studies. Importantly, you also have to discuss your study in light of available literature. What you have found, is it consistent with available information? Is it inconsistent? Is it disagree or is it agreeable? What is new? What is important? And then what are your limitations? And why your study can be generalized and why it cannot be generalized in certain instances. And then as well, recommend what should be done to answer new questions that have emerged from your findings. So that is discussion. Then conclusion. Conclusion, of course, is just a summary of everything. I wouldn't waste my time. Make it as brief as possible. Conclusion is not an opportunity for you to analyze. Make it simple. It's just a summary. A paragraph is very fine. Unless okay, back to figures and figuralism, where many of us would usually get wrong. So, figures and figuralism, of course, graphs, images, and illustrations that you refer in the text. When you keep on figure according to figure as in figure this and that, then you place the figure for exactly. For you to plot graphs, you need to know how to use certain tools. At this point, I know it can be hard, but you have to well how to use MS Excel, Microsoft Excel, to analyze the results and to plot, even if it is just simple graphs and charts. If you can, try and learn how to use graph Prism, because it plots even nicer graphs and has a lot of, there are many ways you can easily manipulate the graphs and so on. I don't mean manipulate the data. So in addition, there you can use illustrations and you can show pathways. In that case, there are also softwares and websites that can help you do that, such as Biomedical and so on and so forth. But importantly, you should know that every table you have needs to have a title and the title of the table is usually placed on top of the table. And importantly, you have to refer to that table in the text, not just put the table, but you have to refer to it, and that way you connect the information you are given to the information that is on the table. Also, same with graph or figures, and figures importantly have to be accompanied by figure legend, and figure legend is usually placed below the, as you can see, figure legend is usually placed below the figure itself. Of course, it should as well be referred in the text. Importantly, a figure legend should contain a title, which is just a summary of what this picture is, and then a description. Here, as you can see, we say figure 3.1. It can be figure A, B, C, A, B, or figure C, or figure 1, or whatever. But then, importantly, you have to give it a number. Even if it is the only figure you have in the thesis or in the paper or whatever, give it a number, figure 1. So this is the title. It can be in bold, but in some cases I can see it is not necessary to put it in bold and so on, but make it as short as possible. The rate of uptake of tritiated dimerism intrapersonal convalency expressing blah blah blah. This is a title, and the moment you read the title, you know what this is, and it should speak for itself. You should know what this is, and in most cases, title should be able to let you know what is on the X and the Y axis in a very short manner. The rate of uptake, right? Whenever you talk about rate, you are dealing with time, and then there is uptake. So this is the quantity in performance. So that means in just 2-3 words, we are able to describe our X and Y axis, and then the rest is telling you what we use to carry out experiment. So figure legend, the description in a figure legend would usually contain a very, very short and ultra short summary of the method, in many cases, just to give your reader the idea of how you arrived at the figure. Simply put, it is sometimes expected that your reader will only read the figure, and that's all. Why? Because in many cases, if you search, even on Google, if you make a search and then click on the image button, all you see are just pictures, and you don't see any other thing apart from pictures. So, and then sometimes even figures from research will come, and that's sometimes what people are only interested in, not the actual paper itself. So it should be as self-explanatory as possible to read them. A short summary about the method. Here, as you can see, 10 million cells were incubated with this and that, and at the determined point, uptake was stopped by centrifugation. So that's just a snapshot of the method we carried out. Then also a brief summary of what we found. There was no difference, blah 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 between this and this, but it is not possible. You can even let people know the limitation of what you found, and so on and so forth. At the end, you also let people know about statistics you used. Here are error bars. One common mistake people make is not to make any mention of the error bars in the figure legend. People should know, is this standard deviation? Is this standard error of mean? If it is standard error of mean, what is the number? What number of samples? As you can see here, we said using average uptake, mean plus minus standard error of mean in PyComol, blah, 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 and we said n is equals to 3, because here we said of a triplicate determination. So you try to be as concise as possible, but you also as well have to be detailed in a very concise manner. Let your figure legend stand for itself and describe as much as it can the figure you have just presented. So I understand time is running, so I will quickly wrap up. Importantly, this is, I think I got this from virtuallibrary.info, which I acknowledged. The language you use in academic writing has to be official language. Official language now you can is a topic of its own. But then importantly, you avoid colloquial language or common language, or what seems street language. Avoid swear words, slangs, unconventional abbreviations in your essays, papers, assignments, and thesis. You also avoid personal judgment. We are in, as I have kept saying, in biomedical and life sciences. So we are not talking about what you think, what you feel, what you believe, or what you dislike, or what you agree, or what you are sure about, or your belief as a scientist. No, we are talking about what is there, what you have found, what you have observed with your critical and unbiased eyes, and what you from there conclude from. So that is why you have to choose your words carefully. Throughout the internet, there are so many resources. You can see words to avoid, words to use, and so on and so forth. But in many cases, the words may mean the same, but then you have to use the right words. As I keep saying, there is a particular language that members of this community understand. If you don't use the language, you lose a mark. Your paper gets rejected. You don't graduate, and many other implications. So you just follow this, you speak this language that members of this community understand. Okay, let's say for example, if you want to say you think, so we are not talking about what you think, but from examining the findings. So in light of the evidence, something like that, from previous research, considering the results, something like that. So one last thing to talk about, I think two last things to talk about is reference or citation. As I have said, academic writing in the beginning has to be evidence. Evidence means you put the evidence where you find it. Says Quran. So this is whatever claim you have made, you have to cite the source you have consulted. And then there are two types of you do this reference, you place an in-text citation, and at the end of the material you also place a reference list or a bibliography. So there are many different reference styles and formats that I will suggest you also find time and make yourself acquaint yourself with the different citation and references styles. Of course, there are referencing softwares such as Mendeley, Zotero, I think, EndNote, and so on and so forth. But then it is very important as a researcher that before you ask a machine to automate whatever you want it to do for you, you also understand the basics. You understand the components, you understand what is expected of you and what the machine is going to do for you, or what the computer is going to do for you. Importantly, in some cases, even when you use the software, you will realize there are some errors because the software uses what it has. It doesn't. It is not. It doesn't have judgment of its own. It just uses what it is given. So in that case, you may have to manually update a few things even when you use the softwares. Remember to place full reference and be consistent with one style. In many cases, your university may ask you to use Harvard or a particular style of referencing. Try and be consistent with what you are asked. A particular paper may ask you for a certain reference style to be used. Use that. Failure to cite, very important, can lead to plagiarism, because even if you have used different words to describe a finding or to describe a fact, but if you don't cite it, it is still plagiarism. So be careful, cite all sources you have consulted, and learn about the differences in referencing styles. So, to wrap up, it is very important in academic writing that you be consistent in formats and styles of almost everything. What you start is what you keep using throughout. What you are required by your university or a particular course is what you use. In particular, for your thesis, there are so many specifications of what to use: font size, font styles, yeah, metric units, sometimes even how to put figures, choice of color, and so on and so forth. Try and be consistent with that. Importantly, also, there are many journals. Most have a particular style or format you want to match your manuscript using. Uh, um, um, so try as much. Sorry, can you please unmute yourself? We're almost done.
The chairman, please act.
No
You,
problem. Thank you very much. I have already removed him from the room. Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you
you
very
very
much.
much.
You can wrap up. Yeah.
Okay, so consistency is very important, like really, really important. You just have to, for every assignment you are given for the new students here with us, and the new students joining a university, try and know that, try and make yourself aware of the requirements of your university or of a particular course, because you just have to be just have to adhere to these requirements. And then the requirements are many. In some cases, some papers, some journals would ask for British English, some American English. There is a particular way of writing some abbreviations. Even the reference and citations, as I have mentioned, there are many styles. uh, how to section the paper, numbers and numbering of occasion in, be it an assignment, a journal article, a dissertation, and so on and so forth. This is very important. Uh, so this is me. Any question?
Yeah. Thank you very much for the wonderful presentation, and we would like to go to the question and answer session, and probably let's say we take 3 questions. It's okay for the day for the Mr. Presenter. Please, if you have your
uh,
question, kindly raise up your hand, then we get to you.
it's okay. I'm fine taking as many questions as possible, because I think that's probably the most important.
All right,
Uh,
all right. Mr. Abdulhamid Taye, please can you turn on your mic? Then you just forward your question, and those that can, you can as well forward your question to the chat box, please.
Assalamu alaikum. So thank you so much, the the presenter. We really appreciate the privilege and the time you give to us. We really learn. You made mention that the protocol, most of the procedure that we use in science, they can be published. I don't know if that one is allowed or is not allowed, because I've not seen any article that it is only mainly on procedure, and I would really appreciate if you can shed light about that one. You also made mention of one thing that I later noticed that I normally saw it on some publication that they will modify some procedure. Maybe they just change the measurement or another thing. So I'm aware of that one. But you also, I'm a biochemist. You made mention that those pathway, there is a maybe software that they can help us to do the pathway. I would really appreciate if you can shed light about that one. And also, if time permit, maybe some subsequent time, if they can also organize a webinar on how to use GraphPad, I will really appreciate. So those are my questions. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks so much, Abdul Hamid. Um, Sorry, Abdul. No, it is Abdul Hamid, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
not Hamid. Okay, good. Same thing. So the first question. So definitely, this is something I have read. I've read. There are some journals that are dedicated to protocols or methods, but in many cases, you can only publish novel protocols or novel processes, something as you yourself have developed, not another person's, not an established essay that you just have followed for the purpose of your own research. So they do exist. I think there's this experimental biology, something like that journal, which is a very popular journal, and it publishes such things. This is particularly important as a biochemist if your current research is dedicated to designing new methods or creating new tools that researchers are going to use in future. You get what I mean? You're on It's all about, you're not investigating anything. No, you are just trying to find new or better methods on doing something. Let's say uh, uh, of identifying cell motility or cell toxicity or something like that. You get what I mean? Currently, there are stuff like MTT
Yes.
toxicity assay. There is Alama Blue. There is which is risazurin based, right? And then
Yes.
there are some that even utilize propydium iodide
Yes. Yes.
and so on
Yes.
and so forth. But if you want to develop a new procedure that utilize a different dye or a different indicator and so on and so forth, you can easily publish that. But for the procedure that you have followed, it is not yours. You didn't make it yourself. You only modify it. So in just the paper or in the dissertation, you just acknowledge that you followed so and so procedure with few modifications. And in that case, you have to show you have to indicate or describe the modifications you have made for future researchers to as well use your own modifications for better results. So another thing, what is the next question you asked about
And
GraphPad using?
yeah, I made
Definitely,
mention the
I'm not the best scientist using GraphPad Prism, but I think it is a challenge probably for the organizers. They can as well
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
in the
yeah.
next
Thank
one.
you very much. Yeah, we hope to organize a graphing software webinar very soon.
That's
It's in
good.
line with
Very good.
our this thing. We have
Uh,
so many. I have known them. We
good.
know GraphPad. We know Origin, and we can also do with the Microsoft
Excel.
Excel. Yeah. So we will take care of that, inshallah, very soon in our subsequent webinar. Just stay tuned.
MashaAllah.
Uh,
the
MashaAllah.
pathway,
That's good.
there is
the
Uh-huh.
pathway,
another. You said?
the pathway that you made mention to draw pathway, the
Oh
soft.
yeah, yeah. So that
Okay.
too as well. I think Barrenda does that. There is this what is the name of this new software that people subscribe to again recently? I can't remember, but there are many. I think I will just send a list to the organizers. But there are definitely many websites and softwares that you use to draw pathways, and it saves you a lot of
There is
trouble.
Chemdro.
You can.
Chemdro. There
What
is
did you say? Yeah,
Chemdro.
ChemDraw, of course, for chemical structures as well and
Chemdro. Yeah.
reactions and so on. Okay, good. So,
We'll move to our next person, which is
Okay.
in person of Awalu Magaji, is it?
Awalu
Mr. Awal,
Magaji.
Awal. Mr. Awal, please can you unmute your mic? Well, it seems like he is hanging. We can move to the next one, which is Abdul Mumini.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah wa Abdul Mumin.
It is Awal
Okay, Awal Magaji Azari.
Assalamu
Okay.
alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, writing proposal before how to write a complete research.
Uh-huh.
Inter the one with
Unfortunately, your voice is breaking. I think the best way for you is to write it in the chat section and then the organizer would read out.
We have actually two questions in the
As
chat
Tijani
box.
Imam did. Tijani Imam has asked that, good day, I had wanted to join blah blah, but I enjoyed. Okay, keep it up. I have one question.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
are a lot of equations on sample size that confuse researchers, which are most suitable for biomedical studies. Again, I tried as much as I can to avoid design of studies or experimental design because experimental design and sampling is a completely different ballgame, and you just can't answer that question in this webinar because it opens room for even many more questions. So I think another challenge to the organizers, you organize a session on experimental design, and there in experimental design, especially when you're dealing with quantitative experimental research or sampling that involves sampling, then you discuss the best sampling method to use. So definitely it all depends on the type of research and the type of power you want. Sample size always depends on the type of power you need and where you also set your confidence interval, right? And where you set also your level of significance, right? And depending on the type of studies, and of course, you can sometimes use convenience sampling in cases where you don't have the liberty to follow what the required sampling method. So please organize another
Thank you,
session
Dr.
on that.
Marzuq. We will take consideration to that, inshallah.
Okay.
There is a question in the chat box by Mr. Musa Idris Suleiman. Number one question is that what is the difference between references and a bibliography in writing a research paper? And then the second question is uh, what are the suitable tense to be used in discussion and conclusion section? Thank you. By Abdulaziz Bashir. These are the two
Okay.
questions that I can read here.
So for bibliography and reference list, to the best of my knowledge, I think they are basically the same things. Reference list and bibliography, but the main difference is where you use in-text citation or citation. In-text citation is where whatever information, especially in the materials and method or in the introduction you have mentioned, especially at the end of sentences, you would let people know where you found the information. And if you are to use Harvard, you put in a bracket, let's say Adamu 2020 or Adamu et al. 2020. For each and every reference style, there is a particular way you write it. You write the in-text citation and then also make a reference list. Uh, in some instances, of course, for in-text citation, you use numbers, and then in the reference list, you attach the numbers. You attach numbers to each reference, full reference. Importantly, one common mistake people do, especially students and new researchers, is to cite something in the text and not to include it in the reference list. It is very annoying for lecturers. Lecturers or people who mark your scripts or your essay reviewers or your article reviewers will usually find it really annoying because it is considered as very basic thing in academic writing. So don't forget, always make sure that whatever you cite, whatever is in in-text citation can as well be found in the reference list or bibliography. So I think that's just what I will say about that. So the other question is about, what did you say? Is the other question?
About tense, the suitable tense that you should use in the discussion and conclusion session.
Yes, very good. In discussion and conclusion, you can use present tense because you are trying to wrap things up. But then, as you would also notice, you throughout your academic writing, there are instances where you have to use a past tense. If you are talking about so and so person has reported that or has observed that when you are trying to make a point. Otherwise, in conclusion, since you are trying to say facts or bring facts together, you can use present tense. In general, whenever you are talking about a fact, something that exists like sky is blue, which you either put, let's say maybe uh, in conclusion or in introduction, you can use present tense. If you're talking about what you did or you are reporting what another person did, you would use a past tense. So and so person reported. So and so person concluded. Muhammad et al. Reasoned that, and so on and so forth. So for discussion, of course, it is just going to be a mix of different tenses, depending on what point you are going to make. I know there are many people who try to give a specific tense for each part, but of course, that's important for people who are learning. But for you as advanced researchers, you realize that in some cases, you just can't help using certain tenses in different sections of an academic writing.
All right, thank you
Uh,
very much. We will still give an opportunity to Mr. Awal to please turn on your mic, then you can present your question again. Probably after you, then there is another one, Mr. Kamal Yakubu, as
I
well.
also see Sarajo and
Yeah, in fact, there are many.
Assalamu
Wa alaikum
alaikum.
salam.
Now, my question is about the internationally standard proposal. Is it the one with, yes, the one with the introduction, brief literature review, then materials and method, or the one without it, with only introduction and material and method? Which one is internationally acceptable?
Yeah, very good. Very good question. So that's just what I said. To be frank, or I should say, unfortunately, there is no universally accepted method. And as researchers, it is really annoying when you would spend years trying to gather data and write a paper, and you send a paper today, and tomorrow it gets rejected outrightly because it doesn't even follow a format of the journal, which in some cases is just introduction, results, then methods. You get what I mean? Results at the end, methods at the end, or methods in the beginning. That alone can get your paper rejected, which is really, really annoying. But then, unfortunately, you just have to follow the required method by your university, and or by the paper you want to publish your article in. So there is nothing like universally accepted, but then definitely scientific writing is usually categorized, sectioned into introduction, materials and methods, results, uh, discussion, and conclusion. Some people will combine results and discussion, and so on and so forth, as I have said. So sadly, it is a no.
Thank you very
So
much. We still have Mr. Umar Farouk Suleiman. Please, can you turn on your mic? Then you can. Aha.
Umar Farouk Suleiman.
Yeah, yeah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
A question I have, I have seen the Prophet Tijani Imam raise a question, but
Hey,
you have read the first lines of the message, but below the second paragraph, he raised a question. So I'm somewhat concerned about that question on the equation to be used for the sampling size of biomedical studies.
I think he has already answered the question, and he has even challenged us to organize a webinar on that. We have taken note on that.
All
yeah,
right.
because there are many equations, and it all depends on what you want, what are your research questions, and what are the available resources you have, and the sampling convenience, and many other things. So I can't give you one equation and ask you to use all the time. It doesn't work that way. So,
Thank you very
but
much.
of course, it is very important, and it is an important element of what is known as a research design, right? Or experimental design, which is usually a course for a whole semester in
I
many
know
universities.
the presentation on that.
Huh?
I said I know it should be a presentation of its own, because there are so many factors binding the sample size and choosing the equation. Thank you for the answer.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Dr. Marzuq, for the wonderful presentation and for your time and everything. And with this, I think we have come to the end of the session for the day. Probably next month, inshallah, we will be presenting on the reference system medley. I will be presenting. I myself will be the presenter of the session, and I would
That's
like
good.
each and everyone to be uh, present in the subsequent session, please. And I would like to pass on the mic to the Mr. Chairman for the Amir of the AFRIM for the final conclusion of the meeting of the day. Thank you.
So, Bismillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah. Ba'd. Once again, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.
You will agree with me that Dr. Marzuq Ungogo has done justice to the topic. He has given us the most essential part of the academic writing styles. And in summary, we can say we should follow the IMRAT techniques. He explained that extensively. The IMRAT stands for the introduction, methodology or materials and method, results, and discussion. And he had also explained that in the introduction, you should start from you are answering the research question, which he raised in the introduction. So, and he has also given us the summary of the different referencing styles and how it should be outlined. So in this note, I thank and I hope in our subsequent seminars, when he is invited again, he will also honor our invitation. Jazakumullah khair. And one thing I have forgotten to make mention was Dr. Marzuq won 2 scholarships, which are very competitive. The NLNG scholarship and the PTDF scholarship, which almost 5 people or 5 candidates are selected in each state. So with this, we say Alhamdulillah, we appreciate him and we thank him for the sacrifice. And for the participants, we also thank you for attending the webinar session. And the certificate, those of you that are unable to get the certificate, inshallah, tomorrow you can try the link. There is restriction, only about 90 participants can get their certificates per day. So perhaps that's the reason why some of you that have tried the link is not going. So inshallah, we are taking note of the data. In case if you haven't got the certificate, our email is there. Email us with your detail, inshallah. We will forward it to you.
And probably we can have a group session. You can on your camera for a photo session. Let's get a little bit of for record keeping, please. Thank you. You can on your mic, your video for camera session for record keeping. Thank you. So 1, 2, 3. I've gotten this. All right, thank you very much for your time, and thank you all. Wish you all the best. Happy weekend.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Dr. Marzuq.
The email, please. Can you put again your email?
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Have a nice day. Yes.
Thank you.
Walaikum salam.
How can we join?
So we are going to share the link also, inshallah. The link will be out.
Please do what platform, because I don't saw it this comment here.
Perhaps I cannot hear you.
I said which 2 platforms? Because I'm not a student of Putra.
No. Look, if you attend this seminar and you have filled in the attendance sheet, an email will be forwarded to each and everyone that filled the attendance list. So it will not be you will be notified through your email. Just stay tuned to your email as well.
We will send the invitation for a subsequent session, inshallah. On Facebook and other accounts it will be shared. So it is up to Walaikum salam.
Okay, can we get a record of the event? I came late.
What are you saying?
Yeah, can we get a record of the event? Record.
Yes. I have forgotten to mention that the session is recorded. So we can share the link where you can get the record session. We're going to have a web YouTube channel where all our programs that are recorded, so the link will be sent inshallah.
Thank you.
Yeah, most welcome. Assalamu alaikum.
Those that were not able to get their certificate today, please kindly try by tomorrow. Inshallah, you can get your certificate. Try the same link with your full name, you get your certificate.
What about the link for the attendance?
Yes, that is the link for the attendance. If you fill it, you get your certificate. It is attached with your certificate.
Okay, tomorrow what time?
Anytime from tomorrow you can do it.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You are highly welcome.